So now let's discuss about the different personality theory. Researchers are trying to define personality by introducing different kinds of theories. Some mostly accepted theories of personalities we are going to discuss. These personalities are type, trait, psychoanalytics, social learning, self-theory. So these are the 5 theories we are going to discuss. So first one is type. So as we already knew that personalities are developing upon 2 factors, which is psychic or the which is physique or the structure of the body, and the psychological factor of the patient. So both physical structure or the physique and the psychological structure or psychological factors of the person. In case of physique or the structure of the body, it is capable of influencing the personalities. Like in case of short person, they are generally a social person. We have a common thinking that a short person is generally a social person, where a person having a huge muscular figure, they like to do the physical work and they are not intellectually sound. When we see a person having that kind of muscular physique, we have a common understanding about the person is that they are not intellectually sound. It is not to be it is to be noted that in many cases the physique and the personalities are not much correlated. Exception can be seen in many instances. Like in case of short person, they are not always be a social person, or in case of a muscular person, it's not always be a case having no intellect. So we should remember that. We need to understand that apart from body build, the psychological state is also an important factor. It can be divided into introvert and extrovert. So introvert person are avoiding people. They do not like interaction with other people. They are not a good friend. They are generally quiet in nature. They are happy to be with themselves. On the other hand, the extrovert are always a good friend. They love to interact with people. They are energetic. They are aggressive. It is to be noted that assessing personalities by only considering extrovert and introvert is in most of the cases has failed to achieve it, because person may be extrovert, introvert, or maybe both. So that is all about the type theory. Now let's move on to another important theory that is called the trait theory. So let's move on to it. First thing is that people have different traits. The nature of the people is different. Some are shy, some are aggressive, some are lazy, some are active. These behavior are the basic constituents of people mind. These behavior are called the trait. Trait is stable and continuous presence impacted on the behavior. Most of the traits are permanent. They remain same. Behavior may change in different situations, but it comes back to its original state once again, because their basic characteristics. These are their basic characteristics. If a person is calm and quiet, and situation can make him excited or angry for some time, but when the situation goes away, the person will again come back to its original state. It's like a rubber band. If you stretch it, it will expand. If you release the pressure, it will come back to its original shape. In earlier time, the Alport and the Carroll identified 17,953 types of trait. Then it comes down to 16 to make it more practical, though it was proved to be the impractical later on. So number of trait is actually countless. So we need to short it down to a manageable level. Traits are common in many people, but the intensity of it differs. It can be seen that all of us is having many traits. It's not like we have every person have only single trait, but we have many traits. That means our mental state is composed of different traits in different intensity. Like all of us have different mood at different time. Sometime we remain calm, sometime we get angry, sometime we get energetic, and sometime we become shy. So our mental structure is formed by mixture of different traits, but the intensity or the degree of the trait is different among people. Like if the person has more anger than calmness, then the person will be regarded as an angry person. Or if the person is showing more being lazy than being energetic, then the person will be regarded as a lazy person. Trait is important component of indicator of behavior. To know the behavior of a person is important, and the trait theory is an important aspect of it. A researcher named John found 5 basic personality variables to analyze the human behavior. This is known as the Big 5 model. Here 5 personalities are discussed. First one is extraversion. What is the meaning of extraversion? It means how much they are able to mix with people. That means how much social and talkative the person is, and how much confident the person are while talking to people. It is important to know if their profession is to deal with the people. If someone is very shy by nature, they cannot be able to remain in the post. Next comes the agreeableness or cooperative, trusty and good nature. A good team requires a good team leader as well as a good teammates. If the leader is good but teammates are not cooperative, trust or good nature, there will be a disaster. Because a leader always requires a teammate who are trustworthy, who are cooperative. So any person who are not agreeable, who are not agreeing with leader, that will be a disaster for the team. There will be no use of a good team leader. Next comes the consentiousness. If you are in an organization, you got to be serious on work. Every organization should know how much cautious their employees are, like whether they are responsible, dependable, persistent, or achievement seekers. Every organization need to know that. Then is the emotional stability, that is calm, enthusiastic, depressed, or insecure. Emotional stability has a great importance. It makes a deep impact on the character of the people. It decides whether the person is calm, enthusiastic, or depressed or insecure. Next comes the openness to experience, that is imaginative, artistically sensitive, and intellectual. So these are the five traits Dr. John have found. That's why it is called the Big Five model. After trait and type theory, let's discuss about the psychological theory. According to Sigmund Freud, the human mind is influenced by unseen forces than conscious and rational thoughts. It's quite strange that how human mind is influenced. Sigmund Freud was a clinical practitioner. He thought that human mind is influenced by those forces which are not comprehensible or which are remained unseen. That is why he mentioned in his theory that human mind is influenced by three elements: id, ego, and superego. So let's discuss about those three. First one is the id. It is the basic element of human psychology. It is a kind of urge which is found in both animals as well as in human being, like food, sex, aggression. If anyone is always looking for fulfillment of their id, then the person will not be considered as social being. We all have id, but as we are a social animal, we are always try to control our id. Then comes the ego. It is related to the reality. Ego controls the id in accordance to the social rules and regulation. Ego knows what other people need and what will be the consequences if the social rules are violated. There is always a conflict is going on between id and ego, because id wants to fulfill the animalistic need like sex and food, but on the other hand, ego is always reminding us about the social right and social responsibilities. Next comes the superego. It is the value, ethics, and norms. This is something new. It tells us what to do being a social person. Values, respect, ethics, all are included in this portion. This portion tells us how to be a good citizen and how to be a good human being. It tells us what is wrong and what is right. Superego controls someone to remain abided by the rules. So this theory is interesting, but it is capable of showing human mind differently. But still, many researchers, including Freud himself, said that the theory is based upon hypothesis, or the theory is more theoretical than practical. Scientific verification and scientific validity of this theory is not yet possible.